it's an honor for me to join this franchise. I remember exactly where I was when I saw Scream 1. I remember the buddies that I was with. I got a text from one of my buddies saying when I got cast and he saw me, he was like, "Are you kidding me, man? You remember when we saw the first one? You remember how scared we were?" I was like, I do. My first big paycheck, I think I bought a bike with it, if I remember correctly. I was a young actor in New York City, and I was working on a show called The Electric Company, and I still hold that show very near and dear. I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and I just needed to get around. So I went and got myself a bike, and that was my mode of transportation for many years. I still have a bicycle in the city, so you might see me riding down one day. I still get around that way. The only difference is now I have a child seat on the back, and I'm always running around with my boys. So my whole life I've seen it as a plus. When you're raised on rice and beans, there's nothing better. What are we having for tonight? Chuleta, arroz con habichuela, vitén cebollado, like that's always been a plus to me. Now, my favorite thing is that I've gotten to play these characters that maybe at first read or in the first audition, they weren't Puerto Rican, they weren't Latino yet. And now I've got these relationships with the writers that I've worked with that when they saw what we ended up bringing the character to, when I read the first script again, they ended up being Latino. I did a show called Sirens many years ago, and the guys who created that, their favorite thing was to ask me about growing up in a Puerto Rican house. What was it like growing up in a Pentecostal church? And I would tell them about our church, and in the season 1 finale, we had to have a wedding. We had a wedding episode, and they put it in a little Pentecostal church. And they had me up there singing on the altar and doing all these things that I did as a kid. You don't see it in the movie, but the set decorators, they would I had a little Puerto Rican guitar in the corner of the apartment that they had there for me. One of my favorite singers is Frankie Negron. So Frankie had a little quarter vinyl in the corner. They did some things for me, for their boy, which I really appreciate.
Desde Miami, Mezcal Entertainment.